If Tinder were to match a happy couple, they actually lose a customer. The biggest reason that most companies go bankrupt is too much payroll, not enough revenue stream. A third of my dreams are Lucid, which is both beneficial for business and pretty fun. You're extracting the impurities or the traumas you've built up in your body in different spaces. I don't have any stresses. I mean, there are plenty of challenges, but I just view them as opportunities.
What's the secret weapon behind every top CEO and entrepreneur? A game-changing executive assistant. Hermessi gives you access to elite EAs who supercharge your productivity. From payroll and admin to social media and customer support, they handle it all so you can focus on growth and big picture decisions. These aren't your average assistants. They're expertly trained, thoroughly screened, and equipped with the latest AI tools to work smarter and faster. Ready to delegate and dominate? Get 15% off your first 2 months with code INSPIRE15. Don't wait. Visit Hermessi, that's HERMESSI.com, and take back your time today. Our guest today is the president of ShopX and co-founder of AIdating AI matchmaking. With an IQ of over 140, he finds opportunities where technology and business intersect. Shaped by chess and meditation, he emphasizes training attention and focus for clarity. He embodies an adaptive mindset vital for entrepreneurial success. And by dedicating himself to lifelong learning and self-mastery, he recognizes possibilities and takes action. His pioneering spirit serves as an inspiration to think critically and leverage technology for good. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm really excited to be here. I really appreciate it.
Tell us about your story and what you do.
Sure. Nice to meet everyone. I'm 30 years old, blessed to be living in beautiful Southern California. My main hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, reading, pretty much anything under the sun, and meditation. I just got back from a 10-day Noble Silence meditation retreat in Joshua Tree, California. It's a beautiful, transformative experience. Highly recommend you check it out. I went to school at the University of California, Irvine, and during that time, I interned in Barcelona as a project manager and in Washington, D.C. as a government affairs consultant, which is pretty funny considering they're two exact polar opposites in terms of climate. Like Barcelona, I would show up to the office at like 10:30. I'd be the first one there. Whereas in DC, it'd be like full suit and tie. I show up at 8:30 and then the last one there. Either way, great learning experience as well in college. My first job out of college was at Snap Inc., and that was helping craft their ad algorithm. The reason I chose that specifically was the location. So Snap Inc., they don't have one large campus. They bought a bunch of different properties along the Venice Beach Boardwalk, which is a cool space in Los Angeles. So it was going to a bunch of different houses, working with a bunch of different work pods, and learning from a bunch of different people in different areas of expertise, which I found pretty fascinating. The second reason I chose that was it was a month right before their IPO. So I didn't get any equity or anything, but I just wanted to be around the company when it was going through that like energy shift, and it was pretty cool. My next position out of that was as a bankruptcy consultant. And the reason for that was like, okay, Snap was fun, but should probably become like a lawyer, doctor, or consultant or something, because that's what the education system teaches us. So I landed at a cool firm. What they did was they did bankruptcy consulting for Fortune 500 companies going through the bankruptcy process. Long story short, that's essentially a Fortune 500 company goes bankrupt. There's a lot of debt that has to be moved around. The consultants work with the lawyers and the court and the creditors to make sure it goes to the proper places. That was cool. The firm was smart. Again, you can learn a lot. You learn how to deal with a bunch of different people. You get really good at Excel. You learn how to be all professional, all that stuff. But at the same time, that's when I was going down my cryptocurrency deep dive while as a consultant. And while the firm was fantastic, it didn't really align with the ethos of cryptocurrency. And the reason for that is it demonstrated rent-seeking behavior. So the issue with being a consultant was you bill out, your job is to bill out hours to the client. So like I would do 10 hours, different tasks, bill out 10 hours to the client, the firm gets paid, I get paid off of that. So everyone wins in that. The only problem with this is the client is a company going through the bankruptcy process. So they have no money because they're going through the bankruptcy process. You're earning money from a pool that should be sent out to the people who are actually owed money. Bankruptcy process, there are 4 levels of creditors. 1, 2, 3, 4, they have different names, but tier 1 gets paid out first, then tier 2, then 3, and then 4 gets the leftovers. So I'm sure you can imagine that like me, you, and any normal person, they usually end up in tier 4. So they often get pennies on the dollar for what they're actually owed. So in my view, we were taking money from that pool and taking from like normal people, which I didn't exactly agree with. So I quit that job. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work in cryptocurrency, Web3 before it was called Web3. And to do that, I started going to cryptocurrency meetups. I met the original ShopX team there. ShopX is a Web3 company that helps Web2 brands onboard into Web3. That's been running since 2016.
Sorry, what is Web3?
Let's go into the difference between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3.
Yeah.
So in Web 1, I want you to think of read only. So if we were in Web 1, both of us could see content on the internet and we could read it. Web 2, I would think of it as read and write. So just think of like Instagram, Facebook, all social media platforms. So us as users, like you can write content, you can create an Instagram post, you can create a podcast. Me as a user, I can read your content. So your listeners can listen to your podcast, view your Instagram post and all that good stuff. But the only issue is you don't own the content. Like Instagram owns your post. If they want to cancel you, they can. If they want to make money off of you and sell you your data, obviously Facebook does that. They can do that as well. So in Web 3, it's read, write, and own. So in Web 3, I could create content. You could read the content, but we can own the content. And the vehicle to do that is an NFT, which is a non-fungible token. Just think of it as a loyalty pass. So like, for example, if I were in Web 3, I could create an NFT piece of art. It's scarce on the internet. I mean, there's only one. You could purchase that and no one could take that away from you. And there's a connection between me as an artist and you as a consumer. So if I have a show or something, I'm like, okay, she supports my art. She owns this digital collectible. I can get her access to specific, like, I can get her early access. I can give her exclusive perks. I can give her merch. I can do what I want because we have that connection. So it creates a value connection between the creator and the consumer.
Go back to where you were afterwards with ShopX as well and how you let into data.
In the meantime, we had a mini spin-off startup that helps replace affiliate codes for Shopify brands. So if you're a brand on Shopify, you can download our app and then upload your products to our database, and then anyone could sell any product. So like if I had a Nike shoe, or if I like this Nike shoe, Adidas hat, this Reebok shirt, I could sell through one singular link, and then I would get a commission, the customer get a discount, brand gets a sale, so everyone's happy. This relates back to ShopX because we dealt at its peak, it had over 100 Shopify brands using us. So obviously, you learn a lot about Shopify and e-commerce brands. So all that knowledge was dumped back into ShopX. As a person, I honestly just follow my intellectual curiosity, and wherever that takes me, that's kind of what I do. And that leads me to my second project, which is dating. So that's the first ever AI-powered matchmaker. And I met the CEO because he runs a cryptocurrency podcast. A year or so back, I was on it doing a ShopX tour. We stayed in touch. AI came around. So he's like, okay, now I can actually make this company that I've been wanting to do for a while. And so he reached out, and we've been building that ever since. So dating is the first ever AI-powered matchmaker. It solves a bunch of problems that Tinder and all those dating apps cause. So for example, in Tinder, 5% of the users get access to 95% of the user base. And not only that, is the incentives are misaligned with dating apps today. So for example, if Tinder were to match a happy couple, they actually lose a customer. Hypothetically, if you Tinder matches a happy couple, they lose that customer. Hopefully the couple goes off Tinder and they lose that customer. So they make their money with something called churn marketing, which is why if you have friends on a dating app, they usually go on the app, delete it, re-download it, and enter that vicious cycle. And another issue is it's really just physically based, to be honest. So like if you're swiping, you look at one picture, it's like, okay, I like their face. Next. I don't like their face. Next. So what Data Inc. is, it's the first ever AI-powered matchmaker. So what we do is you link your social media profiles and we create a profile for you based on your digital footprint and then match you with other users based on their digital footprint who you have a high chance to succeed with. So for example, I could get my 3 matches like Kimberly, Ashley, Jane. I get a brief bio about each 3, and we don't flood users with matches so people can't just endlessly swipe. But I get a brief bio on each 3. I see Jane. Okay, she catches my fancy. She went to Ford University. She's close to their family. Yeah, okay, tell me about Jane. Oh, I see on her Instagram, she goes to a lot of national parks. She tags a lot of national parks. I see you tag a lot of national parks. You may be a match. Most of her pics have with her family. Oh, she went to this school. She went to a lot of stuff. So, like, okay, would you like to set up a date with Jane? And then it can get even more granular than that. I could be like, okay, so you both linked your Spotify. Did you know that you both listen to 20% to this particular artist? No, I didn't know that. Oh, did you know this artist has a concert coming up within a month, halfway between you and Jane? We suggest you go. Would you like me to suggest it to Jane? And then it could help you plan the date from there. So our goal is to get people off the app and into a real life date. Once you're on the date, you have to be like a normal person to be pleasant. But we want to put people in the position to succeed. Let's say even if the app didn't reveal that we have that Spotify interest, that's still in the background. So it's like that may come up organically, and who knows what comes up in the future. And the cool thing about the app, the more you're on it, the smarter it gets, obviously, because like
AI.
Some people like opposites. Some people like it's the same. Everyone's their own beautiful individual self. So for example, like it's going to go off the basis of you like the same first, but let's say it's giving you matches who are similar to you. You're like, no, 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 no. And they're like, okay, maybe she likes the opposite. Then I'll try that. And then it gets smarter as you go. And on top of that, after the date, it can function as a matchmaking butler. Like me and Jane, we kick it off. 10 years later, we have a family and all that stuff. And we're like, okay, do you know the restaurant you went to on your second date is having a special on the dinner you got before? Maybe it's time for a date night because we know you're busy with 2 kids. So here it is. It's going to be the first in VR too. So we're building that out. But on top of that, a big portion of happy humans is relationships with others. And I think having a family is one of the best ways to do that. Unfortunately, in the current climate, it seems impossible for a lot of people, largely to dating apps. But on top of that, the app has the ability to connect like-minded individuals. So like, for example, maybe it connects me to like 5 males who are in the general area who like to do Muay Thai and who like to go to national parks. And it's like, maybe you should hang out. Okay, your Spotify podcast, you both listen, all of you listen to Inspired by Success. Maybe you should check out the last episode together. And it has all that data.
Sounds a really smart, very, very intelligent app. Can we take it back a little bit? Because you've been in a lot of awesome companies prior to doing your own entrepreneurial thing. What's a key leadership lesson you've learned while helping other companies when they were going through bankruptcies? What were some of the leadership lessons that you learned? Because you would have picked up a lot of lessons as well, and why these companies went bankrupt. Can you share some of those insights with us?
I'm happy to. And to be honest, we joined after they're going through the bankruptcy process. After they declared bankruptcy, that's when we kind of joined in. But we did have access to leadership, and so they'd talk about the mistakes they do. In bankruptcy, there's a variety of companies going to bankruptcy for a variety of reasons. The biggest reason that most companies go bankrupt is too much payroll, not enough revenue stream, or they rely on an outside source of income. So for example, it could be let's say you're massive, like Washington Mutual is, I think, our biggest one. Let's say, or like a Route 21 or like a retail store. You expanded too quickly, you bought too many properties, you hired too many payroll, you have too many liabilities. For whatever reason, the brand goes under or people stop buying as much. And then you start have to paying from your out of pocket to pay for everyone. And eventually the brand goes less and less because you have less and less money for marketing and digital advertising and creating new products and hiring the best talent. And the cycle of death kind of continues. So that's a big reason. And I would say the second biggest reason is for like mid-sized companies really trying to expand. So for example, for a mid-sized company really trying to expand, like their focus is massive expansion versus revenue. They think money will come in the future. Like, okay, we can raise our round once it comes low. When the time comes, like, oh, we need to raise a round. And then no one bites. And then everyone's just like, oh, okay. So I'd say those are the 2 biggest reasons. I would say my biggest learning experience was talking individually to the creditors who owed money, because it was more of like an empathetic thing. Because I'm just like, okay, guys, chill out. You'll get your money. But I'm like, okay, no, some people really relied on the amount of money they had. We get that's a confusing process for them. So that really helped. If you're trying to enter sales, cold calling is the best way to learn that. So this really helped my empathetic faculties in that sense. So that was really valuable, actually. And of course, you learn Excel. You learn how to interact with like consultants, lawyers, and the C-level and all that stuff. But honestly, learning to be empathetic to like everyone, because everyone's going through a different story. Like they would tell you what they're going through in life. I'm just like, okay, let's take it back. That does suck. I do feel for you, but this is a process. So the best we can do right now is get this process right and hopefully get you as much money as we can.
We definitely have a lot of ups and downs in the entrepreneurial world. Can you share any difficult business decisions you had to make as well? And how did you analyze the data and stay calm under pressure?
I just think of everything pragmatically. So it's like, does this serve me? Yes or no? If it doesn't serve me, it's best to let it go. Oh, that rhymed. But when you make a decision.
Ready to revolutionize your content game? Meet Modern IQ, the AI tool that creates SEO optimized, plagiarism-free blog posts with just 1 click. No more writer's block or endless hours of content creation. Generate high-quality articles that boost visibility, save time, and slash marketing costs. Whether you're a startup or an established business, this tool is your content team, marketing expert, and SEO guru in one. Click on the link in the description to claim your free article and join forward-thinking entrepreneurs who are working smarter, not harder. The future of effortless marketing is here. Are you ready to dive in?
The most important thing is you have to be adaptable, meaning the decision you make today could be working fine today, working fine the following day, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work the third day. And you have to figure out why and then change. So in terms of entrepreneurship, especially in the startup world, you're just like, you're trying a bunch of stuff, seeing what works. So every time you make a mistake, you're closer to your goal because, okay, this doesn't work. I made the mistake. Let's move on.
And so what advice helped transform your mindset as well? Because I know that you like to do meditation. How does that help you? And you're a fan of chess as well. So how has that helped you as an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, so chess and Muay Thai I view as the exact same thing, just different styles. First of all, both enforce accountability. Like if I'm playing chess and I lose, it's because I screwed up somewhere. There's no one else to blame. We both have the set rules of the game. I made a mistake somewhere along the line, and that eventually caused me to lose. But at the same time, this is what applies to business. On the chessboard, no matter how screwed you are, there's always a best move you can make. So there's like, what is that best move? Well, let's make it. And if you make the best move, hopefully that puts you on an upward spiral, and then you kind of gain momentum and you win the game. Muay Thai forces accountability for the same aspect, but with more of a physical sense. Like in Muay Thai, if you make a mistake, you simply just get hit, and they're just like, well, I don't want that to happen again. You kind of learn from that.
And you learn from your opponent too, as well, because you learn all these moves from your opponent, what they're doing.
What I like to do personally is if something worked on me, I'll try it on them. And in business, honestly, it's like I would say 90 to 80% of code is copy and paste. So in business, like, okay, maybe it's really important if you're building a business to have a competitor matrix, which is a detailed list of all your competitors in the space, your features, their features, how they stack up and why they have them. So that's just something really valuable to have. And then if you notice like every one of your competitors is doing something different, maybe you're missing something or maybe you're onto gold. Either way, you're going to find out. I would say the 3 biggest lessons I've learned is just be authentic. It's really cliche. You're an individual. In terms of Linda, you're the best Linda in the world. I'm the best Eric in the world. If I try to be you, I just can't because it's your natural state. If you try to be me, I'm sorry, I'm gonna beat you at being me. So we're both number one at being ourselves in the world. So we might as well share our gifts. And the best way to help the world is to be authentic and share our gifts with the world on 2 conditions. And the 2 conditions are, I view everyone as like a conscious creator. So if you're a conscious creator, just create something that doesn't harm anyone or take away from anyone. I think you should be good. And that mindset was honestly developed by meditation. So I view the outer world as the reflection of the inner world, meaning whatever I send out, I get back. And this is part of the reason I like to go on podcasts. It's like I like to spread positivity. I think you can tell if you listen to someone, you're like, I like their vibe. This was good. But at the same time, you can tell if you listen to someone, you're just like, blah. So I like to spread positivity through podcasts. That's what was got from meditation. It's like the inner world is your reflection of the outer world. So if I view the inner world as like a positive thing, I walk around, I honestly just wish everyone the best. And it turns out that works out pretty well for me too, because then most people try to wish me the best. And it's like we both win as a team type of thing.
No, I truly definitely agree with you in terms of what you give out to the world comes back to you as well. So don't just give as much as you can and it will come back.
And it feels much better to give too, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, try giving something and try taking someone and you'll feel the difference in your core. It's like, oh, that giving just felt way better. Like ask for $100 and give out $100 and see what you do. I have a good structure for the day, but because I have 2 companies, it's rather free flowing. I mean, like for both ShopX or dating, there's some tech work, there's some sales work, there's some marketing work, and it really just depends on the business need. But I have a good opener and I have a good closer. I wake up at 4:20 because I find that funny. The first thing I do when I wake up for like 20 to 30 minutes, that's when I meditate. So that's why I use the practice I learned at Vipassana to meditate for 20, 30 minutes. And that sets my day up for success. I go inward, and once I start to feel unlimited, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I end the meditation with something called, I forget the name, it's a Buddhist thing that I can't pronounce, but you end the meditation by just storing all your energy in your head and just sending out love to the rest of the world. So that just has a good effect on me personally. Right after that, I do some emails. I do security management. That's kind of when I like, okay, let's see how many emails I have. That's when I respond to the emails, respond to the ShopX community, whatever. It doesn't take too long. And then from there, I'll go straight to the gym, do my lifting routine. I always sauna because sauna's helpful.
Every day? You do sauna
every day for at least 20 minutes.
Wow.
Every day I go to the gym. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I find that just has physical benefits. That works for me, so I do it. So I get back, then I just have to be honest, my work day is kind of run by the calendar, like depending on what time the call is, when the call is. Okay, we just have a bunch of calls, a bunch of tech work, it varies. And then I like to close the day with Muay Thai. So that keeps me online. I can't mess around or eat poorly or just, because if I eat poorly for like 3 or lunch, I'm just going to get hit more. And obviously that's not ideal. So that's my closer. And then usually dinner. Meditation works best pragmatically right when you wake up or right before you go to sleep, because that's when you have the most melatonin going through your system, which is cool. You can have some cool side effects. Like a third of my dreams are lucid, which is both beneficial for business and pretty fun. It's like having a big win in real life. Just like, oh, you walk in, just like, yeah, I won. And then kind of carries. I can do that in my dream. So it's like, okay, I just play around with that. It's like, okay, I want to try this. I want to try this.
Yeah, that's funny enough. I like
to sleep.
Because lucid dreaming, you have more control of your dream too. And many people
Yeah.
can get into that state too. So that's very interesting.
The meditation really helped with that because it was a full 10 days of no talking with anyone, no outside interference. You just sat all day and meditated. And then that's what kind of kickstarted for me.
How did you
Yeah.
find that though? Was it tough? You have to listen to your own head and your own thoughts, but how did you find
See,
it?
that's the purpose. Because, like, let's say I meditate for 30 minutes or an hour today. Right after that, I check my phone and I reconnect. Because you, like, all you have is your room, the meditation hall, and a dining hall. You're not supposed to look at someone, talk with anyone. Obviously, you have no writing. So that's why it's so powerful. It's because you're in that state for like a full 10 days. So what it does is think of it like a magnet where you just scan your body back and forth. If you're a scientist and you have to purify a metal, like, let's say you're like a NASA scientist, I have to purify metal. I have to get this 100% pure. You'd run it through a magnet and the magnet would extract the impurities. So what you're doing in this method is you're extracting the impurities. They're the traumas you've built up in your body in different spaces throughout your whole life. So that's why you go through a bunch of stuff when you're meditation. But the plus side is once you pull out the root of the traumas, and some can go really deep. Like when I was there, I was like thinking of stuff when I was like 4. And it's like, I was like, oh, well, that happened. Better deal with it. So once you pull out the root of those traumas, because you're either a positivity generator or a negativity generator. So if you're filled with traumas, you're generating negativity, whether you know or not. Your whole world is stained by negativity, which sucks. But once you deal with it, you become a positivity generator, and then you raise your own level of consciousness, which hopefully raises everyone else's level of consciousness and all that.
When you said you had trauma, did you meditate to be able to see that and remember that? Because sometimes subconsciously we put these things in the back of our head and we don't. Like any traumas from our younger childhood days, it gets forgotten in our subconscious, which does affect us in our day to day as well. So did meditation help bring that up?
No, it definitely didn't. You don't go specifically for that. I would say if you think of subconscious versus conscious mind, think of it like a ship versus a wheel, where your conscious mind, it's like the wheel where it's like 5% in control, but the ship is really the one steering the ship. Like 95, like the subconscious is like the one in the background moving everything along. And honestly, if you think about it, stuff that happened in your subconscious that you may have forgotten about that helps shape your habits and your relationships and everything you do today. So it all goes back to letting go. It's like you can let go of the bad things. You can just be conscious of what your habits are. You set up a good routine. Your good routine sets you up for success in the long term and whatever you want to accomplish.
Yeah. Oh, that's great advice. Do you have any books that you recommend or mentors or what's inspired you and helped you grow?
I'm an avid reader. I like the Kindle. I think I may have slight ADD where I don't focus too long. So what I like to do personally is I have like 5 to 10 books loaded up and then I'll just read it. If I get bored, I'll just jump off to a new one. I don't care. Like it'd be mid-chapter, mid-sentence, like, next one. Do that. I would say in terms of mentors, because of the power of lucid dreaming, I visit pretty much everyone, all the greatest people in history and kind of chill with them, which is fun. But I also have my in real life mentors in the business alive right now, because having a mentor is essential. And a good mentor is, they won't be critical of you. They're just more of like a neutral sounding board where it's like, you can just like, okay, I have this idea. What do you think? And then they'll be like, okay, try it, but it's your decision, fall on your sword. So I think that's what makes a good mentor. Of course, like the networking aspect and all that's helpful. If they want to put you in the right places, they can. In terms of books, I would say the 3 most beneficial for me were probably, my favorite is probably like Anti-Fragile by Taleb. So that whole series is fantastic. The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, that's what launched me into the whole spirituality thing. I'd recommend you check that out. The 3 Initiates by the Kabbalah is by some guy named Hermes Trismegistus, he's a whole figure. He's like an unknown person. I call him the Giga Chad of the human history, but so he's mastered the physical, mental, and spiritual plane as a human. And he's the one who eventually, Kai Babylon.
Kai Babylon, okay.
So he is way back. So he's a contemporary of, we might get a little woo here, but he's a contemporary of Moses. So around there. And he eventually became known as Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom or writing or whatever that is. But if you read his book, he nails down the energy, frequency, vibrations, all those laws pretty perfectly in ancient times. And comparing it to Isaac Newton's work now, like his stuff is on point. Like for me, I now look at things in terms of energy or frequency, vibration. Everything I do is to try to raise my own vibration. And if you scale it from 1 to 1,000, like to give you a scale, below 200 is when you're taking energy. Above 200 is when you're giving energy. So like below 200 is like fear, shame, anger. The lowest you can feel is shame. And that's just you vibrating at a different frequency. But above 200 is when you're giving energy. And the 500s is love. Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna, they're humans who got to 1,000. Gandhi and stuff, like Mother Teresa, would be around 700. You can kind of tell. So everything you do is to try to raise that level of consciousness. And going back to what we said, raising my own level of consciousness, it raises the people around me and hopefully creates a positive aspect in the world. And interesting thing is, if you look at the scale, it's a scale by David R. Hawkins, just like a vibrational scale of emotions. The main ones around 200, like fear, anger, and those ones, that's when you're most impressionable as a human being. So if you go into social media, and I think this is really important, there's a reason everything is pushing like fear or anger, everything, because that's when you want to get controlled. And that's all done by design. So
That's why I don't watch the news. I just don't watch news because I know all.
Oh yeah, no. Next time you watch the news, what percent is negative and what percent is positive? It's like 99 to 1. We're just like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
you mentioned all the spiritual mindset, and I love it. Self-development, raising our frequency. But you've also got the business part of it too. So how do you separate and handle these? Like, what mindset do you need to get in? Because in business, there's going to be lots of challenges. I know the growth mindset is crucial, but how do you handle all these challenges and continue to keep with your spiritual mindset and raising your frequency, but also dealing with the stresses of business and startups? How do you find that balance?
Yeah, so I don't have any stresses. I mean, there are plenty of challenges, but I just view them as opportunities. I am just the thing. The universe has a plan and I can't even question it. But the way I view consciousness is like everyone came from the same source. So think of the sun's ray of light. It's individual, but it's the same as the sun. So like we're two individual rays of light come from the same thing. So I view it as two different things. Everyone has an inner purpose and an outer purpose. Everyone's inner purpose is the same. And that's to raise their own level of consciousness, whether they know it or not. And the outer purpose is where the business stuff comes in. So in terms of spirituality and business, everything ties well together. Like, for example, this was a business podcast, yet spirituality is coming up.
Yeah.
It's all the same, like fitness, health, wealth, reading. Like a business call to me is the same as reading for an hour midday type of thing.
I totally agree, because this podcast was mainly focused on business at the start, but then it's just shifted away to other things as well, because I think in order to have a successful business, you need to have a good relationships is definitely one, and having someone supporting you and backing you up and keeping you happy as well. That will apply into the business world. And then there's the health aspect of being successful as well. If you're not healthy, you can't run a healthy business. So spiritual is another thing that I totally agree with as well, because I also believe in like the manifestation and raising
the manifestation is 100% real. And think about it, if your thought has literal weight, it just takes longer for your thought to manifest in space and time. Think about it's called space time because space and time flow interchangeably together. It's the physical world that lags. I view everything in the quantum lens, meaning like in this present moment, there is an infinite number of possibilities. Everything is happening at once. And the one we're seeing right now is the one we're paying attention to. So if you think about it from there, you can actually select your own lifeline type of thing, where it's like, okay, you can jump in a positive lifeline, you can jump in a negative lifeline, which is where the power of positive thinking comes in. Like, for example, I could be walking outside, I don't tie my shoe and I kick a rock. The rock slows me down. Like, that's amazing because this rock slowed me down for a second. Now I won't fall on my face, which was going to happen anyways. That's a W. And then if you think, and then wins stack up. So.
Have you always been like this though, this positive, or has it taken a lot of time? Did you ever have any dark moments that you've had to get yourself out of? Because life is all about ups and downs, but you seem to have a great mindset. So has it always been that?
No, I haven't always been this positive. It's been more of an exponential curve where it's been curious. And then eventually the meditation's really cracked it wide open for me. And the type of meditation like that, it takes a lot of leading up. But for me, it was like the third person who recommended, like, okay, I'm just signing up, doing it. Got in and I texted the teams like, okay, I'm out for these 10-day periods. You can't reach me. I came back and everything was good. In terms of being positive, you have to go through your ups and downs. Like when you go inward, you encounter a lot of traumas, you encounter a lot of stuff, and then you do something called shadow integration. And your shadow, that's a Jungian thing, but your shadow is just the parts of you that have been repressed, that society tells you not to do a certain thing. It's all the parts you repress and you banish. But if you can integrate that, that's when you become super powerful.
Do you have any advice for people to help their mindset if they're going through a slump, or, they're going through really tough times in business, for example? What key advice can you leave for our listeners?
In terms of if you're going through a slump, just know you got this. Me personally, meditation has been really helpful for that. That's been the number one thing. And just know good things take time. Just don't give up. Keep trying stuff. You'll get it eventually. If you try hard enough, just don't give up, really.
Yeah, I agree. So what excites you most about the future?
Present moment.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of things are going well. My personal life has never been better. Lots of friends, good relationships with family. ShopX wise, the crypto bull market has started. So going through the bear, obviously, that's a bit taxing, but you build in the bear, you win in the bull type of thing. Dating, I think it's a really cool company too. And so that goes live February 14th. And I think it's a cool company. It's a cool idea. It helps a bunch of people. It's also really sticky in the sense it's a fun app to build. So I think that'll scale users really quickly too. So yeah, I would say those are the big three.
Awesome. And what does success mean to you?
To me, success is freedom. Like, it's not really a monetary thing where it's like, okay, because I know plenty of super rich billionaires. There's like rich people who are just like really unhappy. I'm just like, well, that sucks. To me, it's freedom.
It was fantastic interviewing you and getting all these different concepts from you. Where can people find you if they want to follow you?
Yeah, so the two company websites are ShopX, ShopX.co, Dating, DATAING.io, and our socials are there. But if you want to reach out to me personally, my goal is to be as helpful as possible. So just, I guess, an Instagram DM would be the best bet. So it's Eric D. McHugh.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Eric. I wish you all the best for the two endeavors that you have.
No, thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast, and I had a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.